welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles, and today I'm going to be doing a video just kind of going over some things that you may want to put in place before you launch or activate your website. I'm going to be going over what kind of policies are most helpful when you're creating your online hair business. I am a little sick, so I may sound a little congested or nasally, and also my nose is a little bit red, but just bear with me today. Before we get started, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and let's get right into the video. Okay guys, so before you launch your website, I'm multitasking here, so please, like I said, bear with me. So before you launch your website, you do want to have some policies in place, because keep in mind you're actually running a full business, and you want to make sure that you know your policies and that you know what to expect if a certain issue arises. So the first policy that I want to touch on, that's a really good idea to have, is your return policy. I go to a lot of websites when I'm trying to get inspired on designing someone's website, because we do website builder services. So I do go to a lot of websites because I like to see what other people have on their website. I like to see what they don't have, what we need to add, and things like that. So kind of like a little compare and contrast, just to make sure that I give my clients the best website possible. So a lot of websites don't advertise their return policy, which is, in my opinion, is very imperative to have, because it covers not just the client, but it actually covers you too, because you need to know what to expect if someone wanted to return something. And because you're selling something like hair, you don't want a lot of returns, because unfortunately, the world that we live in, a lot of people are not honest. So a lot of people to send back hair that's already been installed after they wore it for their occasion or whatever. A lot of people may try to send you back other hair. Now that has happened, where people send back hair that's not even from your company. So people aren't always honest, and for my return policy, I do accept exchanges depending on the circumstance. And the reason that I accept exchanges is because nothing's 100% perfect. There may be a client that gets something, like someone may get an order and say, for example, they order Malaysian deep wave and they got body wave. Now that could happen. Does it happen all the time? No. And it may be a rare one off, but in that case, okay, send me back what you have and I'll go ahead and send you out what you ordered. Or a lot of people don't know the terminology of the textures, so someone might be trying to order Mongolian Kiki Curly and order Mongolian Deep Wave instead. And at that point, that's a easy mistake to make. Send me back the hair. I'll go ahead and send you out the right order. But my policy, you have to make sure that the hair is not altered in any way. It can't be out the package, combed through. You washed it. You took it out of its, out of its rubber band. It can't be any of that, because I still need to be able to resell it, and I'm not going to giving them hair that is already open and played with by you. So that's in my policy. I would strongly recommend you guys doing something like that. I don't offer any refunds. Everything's final. You know what I mean? Like, everything is final. It just makes it easier for bookkeeping. It makes it easier. Every time you do like a refund through, I use PayPal, you have to pay for that. So not only are you giving them their money back, but you still have to pay a fee. And it's just a lot of back and forth. So before you order, I'm very clear on my refund policy on the website. There's no refunds. It's a final sale. We do have exchange options, but even for the exchange, you have to exchange your hair within a certain amount of time. I believe I give you 10 or 14 days to exchange it. In my opinion, that's a good enough time frame for you to look at the hair and decide, is this what I ordered? Do I want to keep this or not? So be sure, first things first, make sure that you make an exchange/refund policy. Now, some companies don't offer even exchanges. They don't do refunds nor exchanges. Some companies do both refunds and exchanges. So it just depends on what you want to deal with as being your business owner. What do you want to have to deal with? But you need to make sure that that's very visible on the website before you launch, because if it's not, and say someone does try to exchange hair and you might not want to do it, or say someone wants their money back, if you don't have anywhere on the website that they cannot get their money back, then it's going to be very hard for you to kind of sustain that order. So make sure to do that. Also, the next thing is you want to make sure that you have your customer service, like response time frame down packed. So for example, if a client reaches out and asks you a question, you want to make sure that you have like at least a 24 to 48 hour time frame. At least that's what I have. Put somewhere on the website, or just make sure that you're very adamant about it. You don't want to just not have any time frame, because it keeps you accountable, and it also helps the clients to know, okay, this is when I should expect a response. So they're not, continuously emailing and feeling like they're being ignored, and you're not continuously forgetting. It just kind of keeps everything in order. So be sure to set a reply or response time frame. Again, I do 24 to 48 hours. I think that's really reasonable. Also, be sure to set up a shipping expectations or shipping policy, depending on the time frame. Now, some companies offer expedited overnight shipping. I do too, but I don't offer that on the website. So if you want overnight shipping, then my customers email me and ask me, hey, can you send it out the next day? And I'll let them know based on the availability. So a lot of times, companies, I think it's best to have a reasonable time frame. 3 to 5 days, to me, business days is very reasonable. Make sure that you put the business days on there, because if you just put 3 to 5 days, then say someone orders on Sunday, which is not technically a business day, they're going to count that Sunday as the first day. And when people spend money, just like, when you spend money, you want your product like yesterday. So that just stops a lot of the back and forth emailing. When people order hair, they're like, hey, I ordered on Sunday, it's Tuesday, I should have my hair right now. When really, you didn't mean for it to be 3 to 5 days, you meant for it to be 3 to 5 business days. So make sure that you do that. If you are someone that does not have a lot of inventory on hand, or I've done this before too, if you sell hair pretty fast so that the inventory goes pretty fast, like during sale times or anything like that, or even during like tax times, then you want to make sure that you do like 5 to 7 business days, just to give yourself more time. Or if you're the only one in your company and you're going out of town or something like that, and you still want to send out your hair, you still want to be in compliance to your company, but you don't have anyone there to send out your hair, make sure that you're changing the shipping time frame so that your clients know what to expect and you know what to expect as well. You also want to look into finance options. One second, guys. I'm going to go in the shop and turn the lights on. I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, guys, so I'm back. Where did we leave off on? I think we left off on finance options. So you want to make sure that you have your policies in play for your finance options. So if you want to offer financing, like for my website, I offer finance options through PayPal. And pretty much what financing is you allow your customers to get hair based on like credit. So whoever you go through, whoever the lender is, so like I mentioned, mine is PayPal. PayPal will automatically give me the money, and pretty much your customer owes PayPal. So that's a finance option, but you don't just have to go through PayPal. There's a lot of different finance companies and a lot of different, options that you have available there. But that's what I use. I use PayPal. So I have, the PayPal. Pretty much whoever you go through should be able to give you and your clients, or you and your customers, the terms and conditions of using them. So that's what I do. I really don't have to go into detail about the policy, PayPal's policy option, just because it's not really, it's through me, but it's PayPal that's giving them the money. So PayPal has all that lined out for them. I provide a link and the instructions on how to apply. PayPal does the rest. So depending on who you go through, you might want to look into that. You may want to put somewhere on your website, hey, we offer finance options, or hey, buy now, pay later type of thing. So that's another thing to consider when you're opening your business. The last thing that I want to touch on is merchants. So when you're opening your website or launching your website, you want to make sure that you're very clear about the payment forms that you accept. So make sure that your customers are clear on who you're using. They don't even have to be that clear on who you're using as a merchant. Make sure you're clear as to who you're using as a merchant. I've talked about in previous videos me using this merchant called, what is it called? I forget the name. But in previous videos, I mentioned using a certain merchant and me kind of getting screwed over. Not by the merchant necessarily, but the merchant didn't work didn't work in my favor at that point. So now I only use PayPal. So make sure that you're clear on if you accept credit, if you accept debit cards, if you only do PayPal, if you accept some cash. Make sure that's kind of clear in your mind so that if you get questions, you'll know how to answer. Because I know a lot of people may have longer response times when you send them an email because they really don't know. If you don't think about this kind of stuff before you open a website, you're going to get these questions like, hey, can I use a credit card? And you're going to have to think about it and be like, okay, should we take credit cards? Should we not? And it's just going to take a while for you to respond, and it's just going to be all over the place. So make sure that you have your procedures, like type everything up. Not your procedures, but your policies. I'm going to do another video on procedures, but make sure that you have your policies typed up like in your business folder so that you know exactly and you won't forget, what merchants you're working with, what payment types you accept. Me personally, I'm going to give you guys advice. I don't accept credit cards. Like I said before, I explained why I don't in previous videos. So I might see if I can find that video and link it down below for you guys to watch. But I don't. It's just too risky. It's easy for someone to dispute the name, the hair company name on their credit card. Like, I don't know who this company is. They're not in my state. They're not in my city. And the credit card company more than likely will go ahead and refund them the money, and they have the hair, so you just take a loss. So I only take PayPal. PayPal works great. If I have to dispute, I can provide them my return policy. I can provide them, all the policy. I can provide them a link to my website. Everything's just there. PayPal really works for not only the customer, but it also works for, the seller, the store. So be sure to do that, guys. Just as a quick recap, I did write some notes. We went over making sure that you have a return policy in play and an exchange policy, or just an exchange or just a return, whatever you're going to do. But make sure you're very clear on that on your website. Also, make sure that you have a response time frame. I would recommend you set up on your website 24 to 48 hours. You also want to make sure that if you're offering finance options, you advertise that somewhere on the website so that your customers and clients can take advantage of it. And then you want to make sure that you decide which merchant you're going to deal with. Are you going to take credit cards, debit cards? Are you going to take cash? What are you going to accept? Or just PayPal like I do. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I enjoy helping you guys. I enjoy speaking with you guys, working with you guys, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.